Friday night in December, and tonight on Channel 12, a Northwest Suburban Conference matchup in girls basketball between the Champlin Park Rebels and the Robbinsdale Armstrong Falcons. Hello and welcome to Armstrong High School in Plymouth. John Jacobson along with Jay Wilcox for tonight's telecast. Jay, Champlin Park 1-1 on the season. They played an early Thanksgiving tournament down at Hopkins last weekend, beat Tartan, lost to Hopkins. And Armstrong comes in 1-0. They beat Bloomington Jefferson in their season opener last night.
Yeah, Armstrong didn't play especially well offensively, but their coach Antoine Easley really liked what they did defensively. And they're able to pull out a pretty nice win on the road. They got out and covered the shooters well for Jefferson, and a nice way to get started for them. They're certainly have to be considered the underdog here tonight, but they've got some experience on their team too.
Champlin Park with a veteran team, a team that won 17 games last year. A lot expected around this Rebels program this year, Jay. They've got some terrific talent.
They certainly do. They do have a new coaching staff. Jake Cuppy taking over this year, the former Gophers offensive lineman and former Minnetonka basketball star. But yeah, he's certainly got a good group to work with. Good variety of players. They've got guards, they've got some post players, and definitely good things to look for from the Rebels this year. The other side of the coin is there's a lot of good teams in the conference, and it's hard to say, you know, where they're going to fit, but they definitely expect to be up near the top.
Armstrong won just 4 games a year ago, but you know, Coach Easley, when we talked to him before the game, said that year of experience helped these girls. Got 8 girls that played significant minutes a year ago.
Yeah, varsity basketball, you know, it's a step up from a lot of the levels that they played at before that. And to get that experience, just to calm the nerves a little bit, to know what it's like to be against some pressure. And certainly Champlin Park will get in their face and play some pressure defense tonight. And having that experience will certainly help for these Armstrong girls.
Let's look at our key players, starting with the Rebels and one of the outstanding guards in the state this year from the senior class, Alexis Alexander.
Yeah, she's signed with South Dakota State already and off to a good start this year, averaging 23 points per game. We said a lot of good teams in the conference. A lot of really good players too, but I feel confident in saying she's definitely one of the best of that group. She can shoot the ball, she can penetrate, does a lot of things for this Rebels team.
Champlin Park has some good size, and Armstrong's going to need good post play to win tonight. One of the girls are going to count on to help with that is senior Hannah Sasick.
Well, I liked when we asked Coach Easley, what does Hannah do well? And the first word out of his mouth was pretty much everything. And she's going to need to have a nice game for them tonight. She's going to need to rebound, play defense. She is one of their best defenders. She's also really improved her shooting game, and to the point where they feel very confident with her stepping out and shooting threes, which sometimes other teams' post players aren't that comfortable chasing a three-point shooter out on the perimeter. So look for Hannah to have a big game tonight, or at least they sure hope so.
It's a conference opener tonight for Champlin Park, and Armstrong will tip it off in a moment. More high school basketball on Channel 12 in a moment.
A Brooklyn Park church received some unwelcome visitors this past weekend.
Volunteers really do have their work cut out for them. They'll be inspecting 23,000 residential lots and city boulevards.
The problem began when the railroad decided to increase the train's speed. In the process, they had to raise a portion of the track over here.
Fire crews got a call around 4 Friday morning from a passerby alerting them to a deck fire.
This time, little lob for Winnicky, trying to go up and get it. Touchdown! Back at Armstrong High School, John Jacobson with Jay Wilcox. Conference opening game in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Special guest tonight, Crunch from the Timberwolves here tonight to get the crowd going, cheer on the teams as the players being introduced out on the floor. Let's look at our starting lineups tonight for Champlin Park. Now Alexis Alexander, Lexi 5'6" senior, Kelly Heighton's a 5'6" senior. At the guards, the forwards, Allison Garrett, She is a 5'10" freshman, and Sydney Hilly, a 5'9" freshman, and in the center, Hannah Krimble, a 6'3" sophomore for Armstrong. The guards, Amy Schroeder. She is a 5'7" senior. Rachel Rutz, a 5'6" senior. Lyric Williams, a 5'9" junior. And their post players, Hannah Sasek, the 5'11" senior, and Miranda Robinson, a 5'10" junior. Armstrong getting their win on the road last night, so this is their home opener for the year.
If you need to light up, we ask that you please exit the building, then leave the parking lot, then go across the street.
Champlin Park 17-10 a year ago in the conference. They were 12-8.
We're all part of that.
Tied for 5th place with Park Center in the league. Armstrong 4-16 in the conference. They are 4-23 overall. And we are ready to go. Krimble and Williams on the tip, and it's controlled by Lyric Williams for Armstrong. To the baseline, into the paint, back to Williams on the pass. Jumper up and good. The assist to Amy Schroeder.
Williams is pumped up after that early hoop, and so is the Armstrong student section here as they look to get off to a good start. And she had good hustle after the kind of awkward jump ball there to start it out.
Heightens on the wing, getting to Alexander. Starts a drive, then off to Krimble on the wing. Pops from 12, missed on the shot. Rebound to Schroeder. And she'll get past Garage into the front court. Drives it all the way to the basket and scores.
Schroeder didn't seem to mind going up against a couple of bigger players there. Took it up nice and strong and scores it.
Alexander floater in the lane. Champlin Park is on the board.
It's going to be tough to keep her out of the lane if she really wants to get there. And difficult shot that time, but she made it look easy. She is definitely somebody you have to have help defense on.
Williams shot up and good.
A little bit of offense early on here. The Falcons only scored 44 points in their opener, albeit in a win, but tonight so far getting off to a good start.
Krimble left side, looking in, now drives baseline, and we're going to get a foul on the drive, whistled against Miranda Robinson. So look at Jake Cuppy, first-year head coach. Jay mentioned Minnetonka, outstanding basketball and football player, and played football at the University of Minnesota. He's coached AAU basketball, Jay, the last several years, so he knows not only some of the girls on his team, but a lot of girls, elite players in this conference.
That's right, and he also learned from pretty good coaching on the boys' side in the high school season under Ken Novak Jr. over at Hopkins, too.
And a look at Antoine Easley, veteran coach, now in his 9th season as head coach here at Armstrong. And his team off to a good start, very early, 6-2 lead. Heightens, picks up the dribble, looking, now has to give it off to Krimble. And that count comes Hilly for the ball.
Pretty solid D early on here from Armstrong.
Alexander tried to feed it into Krimble. Finally did get it through to her after it looked like it might be a turnover. And Krimble finishes for 2.
Armstrong almost had to steal, but then on the other side of the coin, the defender ended up laying on the ground, and Krimble's able to get to the hoop.
Robinson. Back out to Williams. Williams from 18, short. Rebound by Armstrong, by Sasek, and up and in.
Difficult shot on that rebound, but a nice putback for her, and getting to the glass against a little bit bigger Rebels team.
Alexander on the drive will shoot 2. And that foul is going to be on Robinson. That will be her. No, it won't be on Robinson. It looks like it'll be on Sasek.
There's a look at Sasek off balance on that one, and able to get the shot to drop.
Yeah, Alexander with 46 points in her team's first 2 games, a win over Tartan, a loss to Hopkins. 1 on a 2. And then this
Substitution number 33, Kristen Tanner in the game.
pulled down by Kristen Tanner is now in the game.
For the Rebels, number 25, Taylor
Williams giving it off to Tanner. A little pressure on the ball. Now knock away by Alexander. Gets the steal on Rachel Ross, and then the foul on Armstrong. Look at the play by Alexander.
Nice poke away, and you see she definitely grabbed her a little bit. Russ did as Alexander went after that ball. You got the feeling that maybe Coach Cuppy was telling them, we've been a little too nice defensively here. Let's get after him a little bit.
Heightens off on the wing. That's Taylor Severns, number 25, was into the game for Champlin Park. Krimble drives off the glass. Nicely done by the big sophomore.
Well, we talked to Coach Cuppy about Hannah Krimble, and a lot of ability, does a lot of things well. Probably needs to toughen up a little bit, but that's, you're going to see that with young post players, whether it be girls or boys. A lot of times, you know, they're a little tall and thin, and needs to work on aggressiveness, but it's still overall a very good player.
Krimble gets the tie up on Tanner, and traveling is called on Armstrong.
Another look at this one by Krimble. Initially, it didn't look like too bad a defense by Robinson, but they just never really got over to cut her off to stop her from that drive, and just kept on, swept it on through.
Latea Turman in for Armstrong, 5'5" sophomore, number 30. Alexander, now it's Garrett's, and back out to Heightens. Krimble starts a drive, back out, Heightens. Right wing, Severin.
Good defensive sequence here by Armstrong. We'll see how the possession plays out, but they have to like the way they're working out there.
And they get forced the turnover. The ball ends up in the hands of Russ. Oh, and then Williams gives it right, excuse me, it was given right back by Turman, and a turnover by Champlin Park. Missed shot. Armstrong with the basketball. Sasek trying to push it up court. Now we'll get it off to Turman. And on the block, Robinson had it knocked away. Here comes Alexander back for the Rebels. And Lexi Alexander for 2 more. She's got 5 points.
Just a smooth player, and I think as her high school career has gone on too, she's cut down on mistakes to where now she's, I don't want to say mistake-free because there's really no such thing, but just makes the right play 9 out of 10 times on the court for this Rebels team.
Robinson, now it's Russ. Robinson shot blocked by Alexander.
Armstrong early on was getting some good looks, so they're starting to, the pace has gotten a little more frantic, and they've had a little more trouble with it.
Heightens is fouled by Sasek.
You see the defense doesn't really ever get back in front of her and even make her have to make any kind of decision. It was just no doubt partly because of Alexander's speed that they really couldn't get turned around as much as they wanted to, but they didn't appear to try as hard as they should have to cut that ball off and at least make her pass where there's a chance of something going wrong, and they pretty much just gave up the layup.
First foul shot is good for the senior. Heightens with 1 more.
Substitutions for the Rebels, number 50, Sydney.
3-point lead. Now for Champlin Park. Turman into the front court.
For your Falcons entering the game, number 5, Callie Fleck. For number 24, Rachel Russ. Then number 42, Carly Ugelhoven. For number 32, Miranda Robinson.
Crunch getting a little carried away and interfering with our telecast as Alexander gets a steal and another basket. 7 points for her, and then they get the ball back. 3-point miss by Severn. Chip up and followed up and in for 2 more, and a timeout by Armstrong as Hilly scores on the putback. And a good run now for Champlin Park, Jay, and they're up by 7.
Armstrong has really started to struggle right at the moment, and there's a nice rebound put back by Hilly. We saw how great of an athlete she is in the fall on the volleyball court, and a pretty darn good basketball player there as well. And a lot of times you get an opportunity for more second shots when you are playing at a quicker tempo, running the ball a little bit, forcing turnovers, and just nobody got in a position to be able to block her out right there. So Armstrong looked like a solid start for them, but right now struggling a bit, and the lead is quickly, what they had as a lead has quickly gone away. They're down 7. Crunch in action there.
You never know what he's going to do next, right?
I prefer him down there, though. It wasn't all that funny when he got in front of the camera for a long stretch up here. Certainly adds some fun to the game tonight. There you see the 11-0 run for the Rebels here, and kind of a key moment, I think, for Armstrong. They need to settle down.
And they get the ball inbounds. Callie Flack, 5'8" junior, number 5 in the game, shot up and a foul as Schroeder went up and is fouled by Alexander. Schroeder to the line for 2.
And Coach Easley was talking to us a little bit about how when we attack their pressure, we need to make them pay. We don't want to necessarily just get the ball over half court and be satisfied with that. If they're going to press us hard, we want to be able to try and convert, get some easy points out of it, and that's what Schroeder tried to do there and drew the foul.
First foul of the game on Champlin Park. Schroeder's second one in and out. Sasek had a hand on it, but rebounded by Kelly Tomaszak. Genevieve Atkins drive baseline. She's fouled to go to the line for 2. 5'8" senior. And at that last whistle, we'll get a chance to score.
Get the foul there on Carly Udelhoven. She was the helper, and it was she had to come over and try and get the help. Atkins has been battling injury early in this season here, but one of their captains and certainly an important player for them all season long.
Second foul shot also good. Champlin Park 5 of 6 from the line early on. Almost get a steal, and they do. They do force the turnover as ball was knocked back to Udelhoven, who wasn't back in bounds yet. And so Champlin Park, good defense by Garrids, forcing that turnover.
It's kind of the old Harlem Globetrotters thing. You hand them the ball when they're out of bounds already is what it turned into. Not much you could do there if you're Armstrong, but obviously Champlin Park wants to set up some pressure and get it going. Armstrong into a 2-3 zone.
Hilly outside Garrids. High ball tipped around, kicked back out. Alexander an open 3. Off the mark, another offensive board. That wouldn't go, and Williams rebounds the miss by Atkins. Williams ahead, Russ, or Schroeder rather, and then a foul on Alexander getting back into the play, and that's her second.
Bad news for the Rebels. I think Armstrong got away with one. Well, maybe not. Williams got awful high with that dribble, but did not get a carrying call there, and second look, maybe not.
So Alexander will come out with the second foul on her. Krimble is back in for the Rebels, along with Olivia Fulton, 5'6" senior.
See how much that limits the first half playing time for Alexander if Coach Cuppy elects to sit her the whole rest of the half with those 2 fouls. I mean, it would be a long time to sit, but at the same time, you hate to have her pick up a third here in this half.
Sasek in for Udelhoven. Rebels lead by 6. Wide open underneath, an easy 2 for Garrett's on the feed from Hilly.
Boy, there were actually 2 players that were open. I'm not sure what happened with Armstrong defensively. One defender fell down, but the rest of the D wasn't exactly in great position either. Here you see either Krimble or Garrett's probably could have had that one. We got a carrying call at the other end here, so the Rebels get it right back.
Krimble to the corner. Hilly to Fulton and back to Hilly. Shot up and in. Nice little scoop shot off the glass by Fulton.
She knows what shots she can make. When she first went up for that, I thought, that's kind of an interesting choice, but looked smooth doing it.
Williams almost lost the ball off the dribble, able to get the pass off. Russ now to Sasic. Spins in the lane. Nice move to the basket and is fouled, and will shoot 2.
Did a good job of keeping the dribble alive there and just probing and getting a little bit of an opening into that defense and drawing the foul. And boy, sometimes that's a great way to get back into the game and slow the other team's momentum a little bit, as if you can get some points at the free throw line, because obviously the trend isn't going Armstrong's way in these last few minutes, but you kind of get things slowed down, get your composure, and get a couple of easy points. We get another look at the strong move there, and definitely a block there on Hannah Krimble.
Sasic, who averaged 11.5 points a year ago, now has 4 points tonight.
Opened with 9 against Jefferson in their opener.
Number 25, Taylor Severn.
Severn back in for Champlin Park, has the ball now. Shovels a pass to the side of the lane to Garrett, who's fouled. Foul's going to be on Turman. It's Latea's first. 16 fouls now on Armstrong.
Back to man-to-man for Armstrong in these last trip or two here, mixing things up a little bit.
Krimble's pass recovered near midcourt by Garrett's. Good play by Garrett's to hustle to that one. Shot missed by Heitens. Rebound to Armstrong. Williams ahead. Nice move into the lane. Shot won't go. Rebounded by Krimble. Garrett's back for Krimble. Thought about the 3. Fulton bounce pass, trying to get it in for Heitens, knocked away. Russ causing that turnover. Open on the baseline. Robinson missing. Back come the Rebels. Fulton. Krimble all the way to the hoop.
Great timing on when to get her that ball. All it required was one big dribble and a big step for the layup there at about 6'3". Hannah did a nice job, and just the timing of the pass really helped her out there without having to bounce it a few times before she got to the hoop.
Turn around by Sasic in the lane. That won't go.
I think Armstrong's starting to be tired out by all this pressure, kind of mentally and physically, where they're struggling to get good looks at the hoop now. And speaking of not a good look at the hoop, that one hit the back of the backboard, as Garrett's, I think, was hoping that there was going to be a body foul called. And you see Alexander does report back in. I was thinking at the time when I was talking about it, it's going to be just too long to have her sit. You gotta get her back out there, and that's what Coach Cuppy does after about a 3-minute rest.
Sasic has it out high. Ross back to Sasic. A little short on the shot. Another board for Krimble.
Armstrong was making shots very early in the game, but since then have not hit a whole lot.
Nice spin move by Severn. Short on the shot. Sasic will take it all the way for Armstrong. Alexander had to make sure she didn't pick up the third foul there.
Yeah, and the problem came out higher than where Lexi was. They should have stopped the dribble a little bit sooner, or at least tried to get in front of her. And at that point, yeah, you're right, Alexander, no chance she's going to foul there.
Severn missed from the wing, then a double team in the backcourt, and they tie up the ball. Severn defensively with Heightens.
Another look at this as Sasic goes all the way and just cutting in front of her to try and distract her was about all Alexander was willing to do there. Well, Armstrong gets it on the held possession, or do they? That's the question right now. I know Coach Easley wanted a foul after his player had rebounded that ball. Yeah, it is Rebels ball.
Inbound came right to Turman. Really past Turman with the steal.
Yeah, telegraphed that pass too much. And then a very nice hoop by Sasic at the other end.
Good feed to Sasic, who now has 8. Put up and in for 2 by Severn. Her first points. Armstrong, or Champlin Park rather, with 6 bench points so far. Steal by Hilly. Bounce past Severn. Returns it to Hilly and then back out. Alexander now into the paint, floats it up from 10 and hits.
Oh, that's a great shot for her. Has worked really hard, I'm sure, at those little running floaters. You know, you see NBA point guards that really like that shot, and that's a tough one to make, but it's a great weapon when you get good at it.
Out of bounds. Turnover Armstrong.
And Alexander got a piece of that pass, which deflected it off of Tanner and led directly to a turnover. She won't get a steal, but certainly in their stats, I'm sure they probably mark tips or deflections. And great job by getting in the passing lane there for Lexi.
And number 34, Allison Harris. For the Falcons back in the game, number 42, Carly Yu.
6:10 to play, first half. Champlin Park opening up a double-digit lead, and there's 2 more for Garrett's. Garrett's and Hilly, both freshmen in the starting 5 for Champlin Park, Jay.
Yeah, and you've got Krimble as a sophomore, too, so it's going to be a bright future. Then, as I was saying in the pregame, they've got a really good mix of got some veteran guards, some young players up front, but the common theme is that all of them can play. I mean, they're not playing out there just to give a few minutes to a starter off the bench. And another look at this nice drive. And again, Armstrong not helping out particularly well. She beat her pretty easily off the dribble, and just nobody in a position really to get there.
Sasic fouled by Atkins, shooting 2.
Armstrong staying scrappy in this. You know, in a lot of ways you look at it and it doesn't feel like they should even be this close, but they've they've managed to chip away, get some points here and there. And right now, within 10, not a terrible margin.
Atkins to Alexander. Hilly almost lost it, still struggles with the dribble, and they're going to call a travel on the floor on Fleck. He's trying to get the steal for the Falcons. We're going to get a timeout for Champlin Park. 5:31 to play in the half.
Good hustle by Fleck, and I think she turned over on the floor with the ball, which is a travel, especially if you're using it for an advantage to get away from another player.
Jake Cuppy getting after his team a little bit. Bring some intensity to the coaching sideline, Jay. You had a chance to see him at practice recently.
Yeah, he will not mince words if he doesn't like what he's seeing. And, I think the players, they'll respect that he knows the game, obviously, and that they have the desire to be a really good team. And so, you kind of know that it's nothing personal if he gets on you a little bit in practice, and you learn from it and go from there.
Alexis Alexander leading the way for Champlin Park so far with 9 points. Hannah Sasic at 10 for Armstrong. The 10-point game. If the music could be any louder in this gym, I'm not sure, Jay.
They wanted to test to make sure it all works, and apparently it does. Armstrong back to a 2-3 zone out of the timeout. And, you know, I was just thinking prior to giving up that easy layup for Garrett's a moment ago that for a lot of the half, Armstrong's played pretty solid on D. Their offense has been real hit or miss, but I think they can hang in some games with solid D this year, and then they force a travel right there by Tomaszak. That's the one thing you can always do. If the other team might have more skill than you, might have more size, but if you work hard defensively, you can stay in games.
Armstrong trying to get that lead down to single digits and hope to keep it that way going into halftime. We get inside of 5 minutes, and Williams drives all the way and scores.
I think a pretty good job of maybe recognizing that Alexander has fouls, so wasn't going to probably try that hard to cut her off there and didn't want to pick up a third.
Atkins, an open look for Tomaszak.
Nice drive and dish. You always like to be able to hit those spot-up shooters off the pass like that.
And Armstrong quickly transitioning, and Sasek for 2 more.
Well, Coach Easley couldn't have asked for anything more right there. Williams driving the ball hard at the hoop and then dishing it off. When you run a press break, it looks just like that.
Garrett, now it's Hilly. Atkins driving past Sasek. We get a foul on Sasek on the floor, and that'll be her second. 7th team foul.
Yeah, sorry, John. She was disappointed with that one too. She felt like she had, moved her feet like she was wanting to, and got her out on the floor there for the bump. And again, a little bit of a decision to be made here for Coach Easley. I think it's a more difficult decision when you're the team trailing like this, although on the flip side it comes much later in the half. That isn't really the end of the world to get your second with 4 minutes to go in the half.
Sasek does come out. Atkins missing in front of the 1-and-1. A foul up on the rebound by Garrett's wouldn't go, but they get the ball back. Armstrong getting turned over in the backcourt, and Atkins too strong off the glass, ties up with Fleck. And it's Armstrong basketball.
Well, Armstrong, it all started out with them not really being aware it was a 1-on-1, it looked like, and not a particularly good sequence for the Falcons right there. I don't think Coach Easley was real happy with their awareness on that play. So Russ will come back in right now.
Williams traveled.
Kind of had a little happy feet there. Didn't have her real good base and have her feet planted as she started to make that pass. And then I think she felt like maybe somebody was in a position to tip, so she tried to hold on to the ball and came up off her pivot foot.
Drive and dish. Here's Heitens. Kelly Heitens with her first field goal. A couple of free throws for the senior. Got 4 points, back to a 10-point margin. Williams answers.
Long 2 for Lyric Williams on the step-back jumper there. Definitely an ability to put the ball in the hoop for this Falcons team, and they're going to need that this year and the rest of the night.
Turned over to Armstrong. So the margin 8 and 3:06 to go. Armstrong. Again, Jay had kind of withstood that big run that Champlin Park had, and hanging in there.
And good defense on that last one helped to force that turnover. Hilly was, reading the play, hoping that back cut was going to be there, and threw it anyway, even when it really wasn't.
Russ's pass kind of into a pack of players, and it's a steal for Champlin Park. Heitens off to Severin, can't get it to go, and Williams is fouled by Krimble in the backcourt.
Nice decision by Heitens. They just didn't get the shot to drop, and wrong spot, wrong time there on that rebound. Reached in on, got the foul. Now I think Armstrong has to be overall pretty happy with the way that they have been able to bounce back. I mean, there was a point there where you started to think, even though it was only midway through the first half, that, you know, they either get going now or they're not going to get back in this one. And obviously they're still down 8, but they're certainly the heavy underdog coming into this game, and I think they have to overall like a lot of what's gone on here.
Fleck finds Williams open. Nice pass by the junior, and the junior Williams finishes.
Nice pass and nice cut. Williams did a good job of finding the open spot on the court.
Heitens drives, her pass too high, out of play, trying to hit Krimble in the post.
Another look at this nice back cut here. As getting out there was Garrett's really trying to deny that wing pass, but she just lost sight of Williams, who cut right behind her.
6-point game now with 2 minutes to play in the half. Here's Turman driving. Her shot up won't go. Ball on the floor, and Turman hustles after it, gets it on the wing, drives it up again. Not good. And finally rebounded by Garrett, who got tied up by Fleck. Alternate possession. He'll stay with Champlin Park. Now Turman, good hustle to get to that loose ball, but perhaps should have pulled out. It was a tough shot to try to make on that her second try there.
Yeah, the first one I liked. I mean, it was a good aggressive shot, but I agree on the second one. But still, you like the hustle and going after it.
Heitens for 3. Didn't try to put him on. It's missed anyway, and rebounded by Williams. Ahead through the hands of Robinson. That could have been an easy 2.
That's one they would like to have again. I mean, they've cut it down to 6, and that one should have been a layup, and Robinson knows it too.
Krimble out between the circles. Now it's Heitens. Cross to Garrett's, back to Heitens. She'll drive, fakes the pass, missed the shot off the glass. Krimble up and good.
Good job of keeping that ball up and getting her composure and going up strong with it on the second try. Nice putback by Krimble. That was a big hoop.
Williams up and over the rim and in.
Another nice cut and good touch on that shot to roll in. She's really come alive late in this first half, and not just with her scoring.
Had a dozen points in their opener against Jefferson, has 12 tonight in the first half.
Back to 6 and under a half minute to go. We'll see if the Rebels hold for one or just attack all the way. Looks like they're attacking.
Krimble up and in. 10 points for the sophomore.
That's a really good shot right there. I got to believe a lot of colleges are going to be very interested in Hannah Krimble coming up in a couple of seasons, or starting already, I'm sure.
Turman's pass over the head of Russ and out of play.
That hurts if you're Armstrong to not at least get an attempt up there.
Heitens gets the pass in to Tomaszak. Stolen by Williams. Turman's going to have to hurry. At 3. It's in! And it counts. And Armstrong's down just 5 at the half.
Oh, that's a big hoop for the Falcons. They get the steal. They get the 3. That is huge for Armstrong. A great way for them to end the half, and what's been a pretty good half for them. Here's another look as that ball's tipped away by Williams. Then the little toss ahead.
All night.
And gets that shot away just in time. Champlin Park bench trying to say otherwise, and they were trying to say travel. If anything, it could have been a travel, I think, on Tomaszak of the Rebels.
37-32. Good, entertaining first half of basketball tonight at Armstrong. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more Northwest Suburban Conference Girls Hoops on 12 Sports after this timeout.
Osseo, Crystal, and Plymouth. Channel 12 is your local source.
intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown.
Reed whips it away, and Hopkins advances. Hello and welcome to a new season of Sports Champ.
Channel 12, your local source.
Armstrong High School, crunch entertaining the fans here, and it's been an entertaining game on the floor in the first 18 minutes. A 37-32 Champlin Park lead. As you look at highlights from the first half, good start for Armstrong. Lyric Williams popping in an early two, had half a dozen baskets in that first half, and then nice move into the lane, the floater up and in for two more for the junior. For Armstrong, or for Champlin Park, some good play by their underclassmen. Cody Hannah Krimble, who scooped in two there. Alexis Alexander all the way on the drive for two. And at the other end, Hannah Sasic able to do the same thing, gets through the Rebels defense and lays in two of her 12 first half points. Then Armstrong steal here, creates two. Turman getting ahead for Sasic, who lays it in. And Garrett's a nice drive to the basket here. And the freshman laying in a basket. Then the final seconds of the first half. Off the inbound pass, Williams knocks the ball away, gets the steal, feeds Turman and lets it go just before the buzzer, knocks down a three, and that made it a 5-point game. That is where we are at the halftime. So look at the top scorers. Krimble with 10 for Champlin Park, Alexander 9, Heitens and Garrett's 4 each. Sasic and Williams with 24 of Armstrong's 32 points, and Amy Schroeder has 5. 37-32, Champlin Park up on Armstrong at halftime. We're back with more second half girls basketball from Armstrong High School after this timeout.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Channel 12's Community Corner puts the spotlight on your corner of the northwest suburbs.
We want to talk about some things happening around the city of Maple Grove.
New Hope's rinks are officially open.
This is the spot for the Golden Valley Rotary Club.
The City Council worked really hard not to have a tax increase.
You can instantly upgrade your wardrobe with a few simple accessories.
We're in Golden Valley today doing a little recycling.
Rediscover your corner of the northwest suburbs every day on Channel 12's Community Corner.
Ready for the start of the second half. 37-32, Champlin Park leading Armstrong. John Jacobson and Jay Wilcox back here at Armstrong High School. And Jay, good strong first half for Armstrong after they had fallen behind by in double digits, and they rally and they're now only down by 5.
They have to like the way that they came back, showed some good composure, and then ending the half on that hoop. They had just turned the ball over, and it looked like Champlin Park was at the very least going to get the last shot. Instead, they turn it back over, and you get the long one at the buzzer by Turman. That was a great way to end the half, and the players didn't get to see it, but we're still recovering from Crunch's performance at halftime here. All the kids just loved it, and by kids, I mean little and high school-age kids. Great to have Crunch here, really firing up the crowd.
Underway in the second half. First possession for Armstrong. Williams and Sasic, a dozen points each. Williams feeding Sasic here, and she'll go to the line for 2. You know, I talked about on the pregame, Jay, about players who got a lot of minutes last year. had to suffer through a lot of losses. Armstrong was 4-23 a year ago. Sasek and Williams probably led their teams in minutes last year, and now as a senior and junior respectively, they've matured. They're better players than they were a year ago.
And that's what you hope for, and you also hope that the the losing doesn't kind of get to players and start to get discouraged and not be as interested in trying to work hard and get better both as individuals and team, and obviously that has not happened with their group.
So the margin now 4 out of 1 free throw for Sasek on that first possession. Hilly to Heitens. Thought the baseline was open for a minute, but quickly cut off by Sasek. Released the pass. Shot missed by Garrett's. Follow-up by Hilly is up and good.
Hilly's a good athlete and has some strength in there too, and able to get that up in traffic after gathering the rebound here. You get a look. Good drive to the hoop, didn't quite get it. Hilly keeps it alive and fights that one up, and then they force a travel in the backcourt.
Up and in. Hilly feeding Krimble for 2.
Nicely designed inbound play for Champlin Park. That really shouldn't happen if you're Armstrong defensively, but they just got picked off enough.
Open on the baseline, but missing for Armstrong was Sasek. Back come the Rebels. And that one won't fall for Hilly. And it's into the hands of Schroeder. Now Williams. Tough drive into the lane, and Heitens gets the block on the shot by Schroeder. Drive to the basket by Garrett's, and she's fouled.
Good vision by Hilly to see her coming behind her. Garrett's ended up with not a great angle at that one, and I think Armstrong really bailed her out here. Sasek, that was going to be a really difficult shot because she didn't have a great angle to use the backboard. And Sasek, you're going for the block, the heat of the moment, and I'm sure she wishes she had that one back. In hindsight, realizing that just making her shoot that shot, the odds are not very good it would have went in.
The foul is on Sasek. It is her 3rd foul. 1 for 2 goes Garrett's at the line. Margin now is 9. Made it 7.
Well, Coach talked about how Hannah's become a much stronger outside shooter and stepped up confidently into that one from about 17 feet and nailed it.
Heitens looks in the paint. Finds her player on the baseline, and a kick out pass to Hilly. Scoop shot blocked. Garrett's nice job to keep it alive. Off to Heitens into the paint. Krimble up. That won't go. Tipped around by Hilly, and finally Sasek comes out of there with it in some traffic, able to tip it across, and Armstrong keeps possession. Traveling called on Armstrong.
Defense bothered Sasek a little bit that time, and she scrambling to get that ball back and make the pass and shuffled her feet a little bit there.
Heitens. Krimble open down low as the size advantage there on Rachel Russ, and Krimble scores.
Nice job of sealing the defender, and a good pass right in too.
Williams in and out. Fouls her own shot. That won't go. Another try up and in for Lyric.
You get a few offensive rebounds on your stat sheet as well there, and Williams did a good job of staying with it. Champlin Park can't be happy with the lack of block out there. They always say that a shooter usually knows where a miss is going to go more so than anybody else, and Williams just stayed right with it, went after it.
backcourt foul whistled against Amy Schroeder, her second team foul on the Falcons here in the second half. Alexander through the defense and into the front court to Hilly. Krimble, tough shot, and drew contact and will go to the line for two.
Krimble, a strong drive into the middle, and then the help D gets there. And I think, you know, it can be easier said than done, but if I'm Armstrong, I want to try and force her to go left a little bit. She looks like she's very strong driving that ball into the lane with her right hand or strong hand, which most people are a little stronger at it. And Crunch now apparently getting ready for bed there with the robe on.
Krimble makes both free throws for the game. Champlin Park 8 of 11 from the free throw line. Armstrong is 8 out of 10.
Rebels trying to step up that defensive pressure again and make Armstrong get frantic out there with it. 5-second call right there.
Tanner defended the whole time by Alexander, didn't give up the pass.
Returning the game for the Rebels, number 25, Taylor Sutton, or number 50, Sydney Hilly.
So now Champlin Park slowly opening up the lead again. Remember, it was double digits for the middle part of that first half. Alexander off to Krimble. Alexander's been quiet offensively, Jay, for quite a while in this game.
Yeah, she hasn't been forcing it, but she did have a little bit of the foul trouble to deal with too. She hasn't really gotten a lot of shots up in this game, which, you know, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but I think as the game goes on, they're going to want to get her more looks too.
Garrett's called for traveling. And Tanner into the front court.
Once again, a lot of pressure on her.
Williams back for Tanner and knocks it down.
Kristen Tanner.
Well, you do drills so that you're ready and in shooting position right when you catch that, and she was, and a good find.
Alexander knock away by Williams. Officials are going to confer on who touched it last.
It was a tough one to call, whether you should have a foul either way, and then ultimately who touched it. They elected to just say it kind of happened in the process of, you know, both players going for the ball. Williams and Alexander basically got their feet tangled. There's the end of the half. Hero coming back in for Armstrong.
Entering the game for the Rebels, number 2, Jenny Atkins. For your Falcons, back in the game, number 30, Latea Termone. For number 40, number 4, Larry Williams. And number 42, Carly Udelhoven.
Severn really hounded defensively by Udelhoven. That's Krimble trying to get the bounce pass and intercepted by Torman. She'll take it all the way. Won't go. Rebound by Alexander. Has Heitens ahead of her. Dishes off on her right, but her pass behind Severn. Turnover Champlin Park, and Turman's fouled by Severn.
Sloppy little sequence there, back and forth. Alexander didn't have a bad idea there, but her pass was definitely behind the target there, so a little back and forth we go with turnovers.
Not a lot of fouls in this game so far, Jay. Only a total of 16. Contrast that to the Park Center Centennial game last night up in Circle Pines. 59 fouls whistled in that game. You don't get much flow when you have a game that's officiated like that. I guess you can't, I didn't see it, so I guess I shouldn't just blame the officials, but when you get a game that's got that many whistles in it. And Centennial had a big win at home last night.
Nice cut by Sasek, and we'll get to, and yeah, you're right. I mean, their basketball can be really ugly when it's a foul fest all night long.
Foul number 15, Alexi Alexander.
Alexander fouling Sasek, and each of those players, Sasek for Armstrong. Alexander for Champlin Park with 3 fouls.
Far enough along into the half that I don't think there's really, any great need to be too worried about that. Obviously, you don't want to go back and pick up another one right away if you're either of those players. But
back in the game for the Falcons, number 32, Miranda Robinson, or number 11, Anna Sasek.
So Armstrong again fighting back. It's a little bit similar to the first half. They're back to within 5.
46-41. Alexander off on the wing. Nice pass, Severin. Heighten's open. 2-pointer. Badly missed, got her own rebound off to Atkins, and Heighten's now will find Hilly. Severin will launch a 3. It's long. Rebounded by Turman. A foul and 2 more shots, and Armstrong, just as I said a couple minutes ago, Champlin Park was starting to pull away a little bit. And the Falcons hang in there, and there's the 4th foul on Alexander.
And it turned out to be a really good idea by Schroeder to attack there. I don't think she was probably knew that it was Alexander there and that she had 3 fouls, but able to draw one. Alexander, it was kind of a tough luck foul. You could see that Schroeder was turning her body coming right at her, and Alexander, I think as much as anything, was trying to get out of the way, but didn't work out that way, and it was certainly looked like a foul and probably was, so she'll have to go sit.
Tom Nazak in for her as Alexander sits down with 11:52 to play in the second half. Schroeder, though, misses both free throws, and the margin remains 5. Atkins left wing trying to drive on Turman.
Going to get an offensive foul.
And Atkins pushing away on the defender.
Atkins, her second person, 15 foul half on the Rebels.
I was going to say it was kind of an unfortunate call if it goes against the defensive player, and I think it was a good call actually on the offense.
They break the press. Second try is up and in for Robinson. First basket tonight for the junior. Timeout, Champlin Park.
And here come the Falcons once again. We talked about in the first half how Coach Easley said we don't want to just get the ball over half court. If they're going to press us, we want to score that ball. And even though the first one didn't go in, not much chance for the defense to get back and rebound it. And Robinson just stayed right with it. And I think as much as anything about Armstrong, I'm impressed by the way that they've played confidently here. You haven't seen them hang their heads when they fell behind, really. You haven't seen them panicking when they were being pressured very much. I think they've played with some poise and some confidence here tonight.
The team that really not only struggled to win games a year ago, but they struggled offensively to put points up on the board. And tonight, we've seen them being able to score and transition on the inside. And that's a sign of things that an improving club, and I think a confidence builder for this Armstrong team tonight, whether or not they win, but playing very tough in the middle part of the second half against one of this league's best teams.
And if you're Champlin Park, similarly, you can't get flustered that the lead has gotten small. You do still have the lead. They have done a lot of things right here tonight as well. And, probably hasn't been what they would consider their best night, but it's still very early in the season, and they're getting a good challenge.
Heidens drives, can't finish. Rebound by Turman. Pass going in for Fleck, deflected away, and Krimble ends up with it.
That was a great read by Krimble to stay there. Her player cut away, but she saw the pass was going to come, and the offensive player just did not expect her to still be there.
High post driving and fouled is Hilly. And she'll go to the line for 2.
What got Hilly that opportunity was meeting that pass. It wasn't really that much room to put that pass. At first I was questioning whether they should have even thrown it. And Hilly comes after the ball aggressively. I like the way Hilly plays. I mean, she's obviously has played a lot of basketball, if not varsity basketball. She's obviously a good athlete, but she also seems to know the game very well and does a lot of things well. She maybe isn't a player that right now is going to be getting you 15, 18 points on a regular basis, but definitely does a lot of things right for this team.
It's nice to see her playing basketball, Jay. I don't know that it was necessarily ever a decision in her head, but she's one of the top in her age group in volleyball in the country. And sometimes you get elite athletes like that, and they'll just stick with their one sport they're good at. And here she is out on the basketball court.
Oh, especially now. You know, 15, 20 years ago, it was very common to see a volleyball-basketball combo for girls. And lately, it's become quite rare, as you said, for the top players in either sport to go ahead and play the other.
Off of Champlin Park, or excuse me, off of Armstrong, Champlin Park basketball. Oh, pressure by Armstrong in the backcourt now. Hilly will lob it ahead to Heitens. And now Krimble.
See how long they keep Alexander out with those 4 fouls.
Three-pointer for Hilly. A first three-point shot made by Champlin Park tonight. Armstrong themselves has just 1 in the game. Sasek won't go, but Williams, he is up there and in with her follow-up, and she has 16.
Well, they stayed aggressive looking to attack that press. Again, the first shot didn't go, but the rebound did.
Krimble from Garrett scores and 1.
Krimble has very good body control for a tall 6'3" sophomore post player. Very good at finishing on those shots. See, she can obviously finish with either the right or left hand, and there's a lot of players who can do it, you know, when you're going slow speed or when you're doing it in practice, but this was right at a defender while being fouled, still able to finish with the offhand. That's pretty good.
Makes the foul shot. Krimble, 9 points here in the second half, 19 in the game. Margin again is 8. Baseline shot long from Sasek, out of bounds off Champlin Park.
That time I don't think Adkins and Garrett's realized that it was a teammate that was fighting them for the ball, and they ended up losing it.
Three-point shot missed from Russ. Hilly ahead for the Rebels. Bounce pass to Tom Dezak and then back. Krimble off on the wing, back out high, goes to Hilly. Now she'll put it on the floor. Pass into the lane, trying to get it to Garrett. Sasek got a hand on it. Ahead now to Lyric Williams. Glass and good. Timeout Armstrong.
Great job in transition by the Falcons after a good defensive possession. They end up getting the steal ultimately there, and Williams did a good job of going fast enough, but without getting too fast there. Once you're one-on-one basically when you get down there, you've got a lot of room to work with there. You don't have to hurry it too much, and she did a solid job. And Champlin Park huddle right now not that happy of a place as their lead has been trimmed back to 6 at 53-47. Coach Easley for Armstrong. I think there was a couple possessions lately where Armstrong maybe took quicker shots than he needed to. Took, not terrible shots, but not necessarily as open as they would like to be. Maybe run through it a time or two in your offense and get an even better look. But they have again fought back when it looked like they were starting to fall behind.
Armstrong next week. Conference game at Maple Grove on Tuesday. And then at Cooper, their district rival, next Friday, the 13th. For Champlin Park, a tough week next week, Jay. They'll host Centennial in their home opener on Tuesday, and then at Osseo next Friday.
Now, those were the two teams that tied for the conference title a year ago. Centennial looking good early on. Osseo, I don't think will be as good. I don't know how you could be when you lose Janae Morton and Phyllis Webb. However, they'll still be a formidable opponent, no doubt.
Schroeder gets back defensively, knocks the ball away. Tom Nazak on the inbound and gets it to Hilly. Steal by Lyric Williams. In alone and two more.
Good defensive pressure by Williams. Yes, it looks like a bad pass, and it was, but by her being out there, created some doubt in the passer's mind. When should I throw this ball? Is she open enough? And that ended up being an easy steal, and then they turn it over again.
That pass by Garrett's missing Heitens.
You saw Heitens on this replay here. Didn't feel she was open enough, so she started to cut. That was just as the pass was being made, and Williams gets the steal and layup, and Armstrong has a chance to cut this down to 2 or even 1 with a three-pointer.
Williams off on the pass to Udelhoven. Now it's Schroeder. Back for Williams. Shot missed, out of bounds. I think it was off Sasek. Yes.
Pretty good step up there defensively by Krimble. That's a tough player to shoot that ball over. Williams, I think, thought she was going to have a relatively open look, but 14 and White got a hand up to at least bother that shot.
Hilly will take it all the way. Not good. Krimble, offensive board, and puts it in for 2 more. Williams to Ross. In and out on the 3. Rebound to Heitens. Got a 3-on-1 break for the Rebels. Feeds Hilly on the left wing. Up and in.
That's a big bucket for the Rebels. Great rebound in traffic there by Heitens. She's not all that big, but she came out of there with that one cleanly and pushed it right up court.
Five-second call. Again, the defense by Champlin Park. Second time they've forced that in this half.
Another look at Hilly driving the ball. Armstrong's defenders stayed way too deep there. Didn't step up to challenge her. Got it up there on the shot and missed. Krimble to put back, and then Heitens really ran this break well. Started with a good rebound, got it over to Hilly. And Hilly, I think, really did a nice job letting the defender go by there. Sometimes people feel like, well, if it's a break, we have to go it all in stride. I can't stop. I can't control it and slow down, and obviously prove that you can right there.
8-point lead for Champlin Park. They've got the basketball with just over 6 minutes to play. Garrett's back out to Severin. Into Krimble. Backs down Sasek and scores.
Great hoop right there and a good entry pass. Krimble obviously has learned a lot about getting position. She cut strong. Armstrong needs to do a little bit better job as Williams turns it over. A little bit better job of not letting Krimble cut so easily. You've got to get somebody to at least impede her path a little bit, if not give her a good bump, you know, to knock her off stride a little bit.
And Alexis Alexander, who sat about 6 minutes with 4 fouls, is back into the game. Trying to help close things out for the Rebels, who are back up by 10.
There's Krimble again, sealing after setting a screen, gets the layup. Well done. She sets that down screen, and then turns her body and seals, and the Rebels going to the well again with that.
25 points now for Hannah Krimble. 3-point shot missed from Schroeder. With a whistle and a foul.
Armstrong's really starting to force shots up. There's another look. Krimble gets Sasek on her back, and again able to finish strong with the left hand. Well run offensive set there for Champlin Park.
Foul on Heitens of Champlin Park, her first. And Schroeder making the free throw.
Not a lot of margin for error for Armstrong anymore, and they've really been a little impatient offensively a couple of these last possessions. I think they're feeling rushed by Champlin Park getting out and defending them hard, and really kind of the first person who gets a, you know, anything resembling a decent look at the hoop has been firing it up. Armstrong wants to press, but it's a little harder to do against Alexander, although they get the steal here.
Turman steps in, long on her shot, gets the ball back, trying to feed it off. Her Placket's taken back by Champlin Park, scooped off the glass, Severn missing, and back comes Armstrong with Schroeder. Steal by Alexander for Champlin Park, and there she goes for two.
Tough turnover there for the Falcons, and a big one for Champlin Park, and Alexander a way to get her going again here late in the game.
First basket in the second half of the senior. She got 11 on the night. Another three try from Schroeder won't go. Follow up underneath, that wasn't good from Robinson. Back comes Champlin Park quickly in transition. Hilly for two.
This one really starting to get away from the Falcons right now, and Coach Easley's going to use a timeout. Seems as though they've maybe used up most of the tank, fighting back to within 3-4 points there, and now the Rebels have started to make the plays down the stretch and able to get the lead up to 14. As you get another look, Alexander left all alone ahead of the pack after getting that steal and able to finish it off.
You know, one player we haven't talked about for Champlin Park, Jay, tonight, the player's not dressed. Maria Sampson got hurt late in the volleyball season and is also a basketball player. She's going to play college volleyball, collegiate volleyball at Concordia St. Paul next year. And it will not be back until after Christmas, likely around the first of the year. There she is actually walking through the shot there in the yellow skirt. And she's an outstanding post player, especially defensively, that Coach Cup is excited to get back and healthy in 3-4 weeks here.
Yeah, she's about 6'2", strong, and you know, anything she can give them is going to be a benefit, and let's hope for her quick return. She's got a doctor appointment, sounds like, coming up you know, about 10 days or so, or a little more, and we'll be able to find out for sure if they'll clear her to start practicing again.
Sasek missing. Atkins rebounds.
Armstrong just has not got any good shots in the last few minutes.
Hilly back to Severn.
If you're Champlin Park right now, you want good possessions. You'd like to take some time, and you'd like to wear the defense out and then end it with a layup. I mean, that'd be the ideal if you're them. Not going to happen here, though.
Tanner got the steal. Sasek, that won't go. Robinson fighting for the rebound. Now onto the floor is Alexander for him. We'll get a jump ball. Rebel basketball.
Armstrong shooting percentage late has really dipped. They're not making much. They're not necessarily taking great shots, although that one wasn't so bad, but you can just sense that they're struggling to get into anything offensively here late in this game. And give some of the credit to the Rebels, certainly, too.
Yeah, Alexander couldn't handle the inbound pass from Hilly. It's a turnover for Champlin Park.
Yeah, that one's on the passer. She threw it basically at her ankle there. Not much Alexander could do with that one.
For number 33, Kristen Tanner.
Fleck inbounding to Robinson. Sasek, well defended by Hilly. Sasek wanted to drive. Now it's Williams who will go into the paint. Too long on the shot. Another offensive board, though, for the Falcons as Robinson comes out with it. It's Fleck to Robinson. Trimble got in there trying to knock the ball away. Got a hand on an arm. The offensive player has whistled for the foul. Third on Trimble.
Yeah, Armstrong will get free throws here when not yet in the bonus at the other end of the court. So that's been a little refreshing to see. As you mentioned earlier, John, not a huge amount of fouls called here tonight.
Robinson missing, so won't get the second. And Trimble rebounds.
All the little things that Armstrong was doing well to catch up have kind of faded away late in this game. And they've just stopped making shots too, which obviously that can be a killer even if you're doing some other things well. Coach Cuppy using a timeout here on the Champlin Park side and wants to make sure that his players know what they want to do right now, that, you know, trying to score more points at the moment isn't as important as making sure you take care of the ball and have possessions that use up a little bit of time. Had a lot of youth on this Champlin Park team. I mean, obviously some of these players have played a lot of basketball in their lives, if not on the varsity level, but you know, all these game situations, and certainly a new thing with Coach being here. Some of the girls probably knew him a little bit. As you said, he's coached them at AAU, but at the same time, his first time as a high school head coach and first time with this team. So, you know, all these things they're working on, whether it be inbound plays, whether it be end of game situations, all of those things you have to put in. And let's face it, there isn't a ton of time before the season starts, before you start having games, to be working on that stuff. Armstrong, it's looking like down the stretch that they're probably not going to be able to pull this one out, but for most of the game, they've done a lot of good things and shown that they're an improved team from a year ago, no doubt.
Hilly inbounding to Alexander. Alexander pulls it back out and use some more clock as we're down to 2 minutes to go in the basketball game.
Looks like they are into their delay mode. Well, maybe not. Alexander goes to the hoop. I thought there was a chance she might have walked when she first started that drive, and ends up, though, drawing a foul against the defense.
Falcon foul number 30, Litea Termone. Her second personal, 6-team foul.
Termone with the foul, her second foul. 6 team fouls, so still an inbound for Champlin Park. Severn fouled by Sasek. And that's 7. And Taylor Severn, the senior, go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Sasek, her 4th personal, 7-team foul on the Falcons. Taylor Severn shooting 1-and-1.
Third point for the senior, one more coming. Knocked them both down. Biggest lead of the night for Champlin Park, 67-51 with 1:52 left. Alexander got back, nicely defended. Rush, she had lost her for a moment, got back, deflected the pass, and gets the turnover for the Rebels. Severn, and fouled by Sasek, will foul out on that play.
Nice offense there for the Rebels as they spread the ball out and then had a nice baseline cut, and Sasek obviously played a really good game, and especially in that first half, and ends up fouling out. But you know, overall, pretty good performance by her, certainly.
12 points in the first half, just 5 in the second.
Armstrong's coach Easley is going to use the time to make his sub, kind of impromptu mini timeout there. I know a lot of people kind of don't feel that that should be allowed. He's obviously working within the rules right there, but you've got time to make that sub, and you know, should you be able to have the rest of your team over there like that?
Severn up in again, trying to make her 4th free throw here in a row. And got them both again.
Returning the game for the Falcons, number 33, Kristen Tanner.
Tom Nazak in, Alexander will get a rest.
Jake Cuppy's going to go a little deeper into the bench here late here as he feels that this one in hand now at 18. And I think, again, people might see the score and kind of figure, well, it wasn't that close a game, but in reality it was for a lot of long, deep into the game.
Russ steps in front of the play. Never sleeps on defense, comes up with a steal there for the Falcons.
And a good call. I thought for a moment they were going to let Fulton get away with that one, as she clearly grabbed her. And, you know, late in the game, you would like to let things go a little bit, but that was definitely a foul that had to be called. Abby Anderson coming in for Champlin Park here, 33.
Free throw missed, and Anderson gets the rebound. Then a steal by Williams, who scores.
Quick hands. Anytime you can intercept a pass that's thrown that close to you and right over your head like that, that's a tough catch to make here. I always am amazed when people are able to do this. I mean, getting your hand on it would be good, but how about catching it? She's able to block it and then just get the layup. And obviously, the thing is, for both these coaches, late in this game, you're still working on individual things. You know, is this one decided now? Yeah, probably so. But you got game situations that you're still able to work on. You want to look on finishing strong if you're Champlin Park, and if you're Armstrong, you know, you played a pretty solid game for a good share of the night, and you don't want the margin to get over 20 or things like that, too.
1:12 to play. Well, both teams again in the bonus. Tom Nazak into the front court with 1:05 to play. Anderson. Cross, that's Megan Whitty, number 11.
Get an offensive foul.
Foul on number 12, Casey Tom Nazak.
And Tom Nazak.
8th team foul and a half on the Rebels. Back in the game for your Falcons, number 55, Callie Fleck returns. In place of Kristen Tanner.
And here's Williams, got blocked, gets it back. Another try, and she'll go to the line for 2.
Way to stick with it there for Lyric Williams. Like the one earlier we saw where she went and got her own rebound a couple times. She's continued to work really hard.
Williams' first free throw attempt tonight, all 22 over previous points, came on 11 field goals.
Armstrong was shooting well at the line earlier, but fading of late.
Whitty for Anderson with 45 seconds, now 35 seconds to go. Severn. Tom Nazak now finds Fulton. Tough shot for her, trying to put it up over Schroeder. And the rebound to Robinson. Williams. And now, Jay, the fouls are coming. Foul on Fulton.
Had her on the reach as Williams went between a double team there. Williams has an interesting free throw preparation there. A lot of movement to it, and I guess when she's missed 3 in a row, then you start to feel like, is that too much movement?
And she struggled from the line a year ago, Jay. 49% from the line and 112 attempts as a sophomore. And 0 for 4 now in the last minute.
Obviously, it's different for everybody, but it seems like the really good free throw shooters, the simpler, the better in terms of your preparation to shoot it.
To the basket, Fulton couldn't finish. Tomaszak up and in. Final seconds, Williams driving, shot up and in, that will go. And Williams finishes tonight with a symmetrical 6 baskets in each half for 24 points, but not enough for Armstrong as they lose this one, Jay, 71-55.
Again, we said, you know, looking at the final, it's not looking like that close of a game, but for a lot of the time it was. It's a good road win for Champlin Park. They weren't smooth at all times, and they had a little foul trouble with their leader, Alexander, but a nice victory for them. And for Armstrong, as we talked about throughout the night, they fought hard. They just kind of ran out of steam toward the end. They were not getting good looks at the basket anymore. They were starting to rush things, and they played, you know, a pretty strong, probably 29, 30 minutes of this game, but just had a few stretches where things kind of got away from them. And you know, obviously they were playing a very good opponent too.
Final score, 71-55. Rebels will take time out and wrap things up here from Armstrong High School after this timeout.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Channel 12's Community Corner puts the spotlight on your corner of the northwest suburbs.
We want to talk about some things happening around the city of Maple Grove.
New Hope's rinks are officially open.
This is the spot for the Golden Valley Rotary Club.
The City Council worked really hard not to have a tax increase.
You can instantly upgrade your wardrobe with a few simple accessories.
We're in Golden Valley today doing a little recycling.
Rediscover your corner of the northwest suburbs every day on Channel 12's Community Corner.
Champlin Park gets its second win of the season. They defeat Armstrong tonight, 71-55 here at Armstrong High School. Welcome back, John Jacobson, now with Sydney Hilly and Hannah Krimble from the Rebels. Hannah leading the way, 25 points for you. And Hannah, what was working offensively in your game tonight?
Our team was working together. I couldn't have done it without our team, so thanks to them, I had a good game. So
this was a closer game, a tougher game than that 16-point margin at the end would indicate. They played pretty tough a lot of the game.
Yeah, they did. I think everybody, they saw me more, and I just did what I had to do, I guess. But thanks to my team, that's how I got it.
How about your team's defense tonight? I thought you guys really played well, created some turnovers in that second half, allowed you to build that lead back up.
Yes, but we did struggle a lot of the game on defense, but we did step it up the last half.
Forcing some turnovers the key.
Yes, big key in our defense. That's what we're looking for.
All right, congratulations on the game tonight, Hannah, and good luck the rest of the season. Sydney Hilly provided a spark off the bench, played some good starting minutes, and then coming off and playing a good second half. Tell me about this team. How excited are you for this season of Champlin Park basketball? You got a lot of good talent, and new coaching staff. How are things going for the first few weeks in the first 3 games?
It's going really great. We have really great chemistry. I've played with some of the girls before, and we're all just getting along really well. I've played for Jake before, and he's just a fantastic coach. We're going to have a great season.
Tell me about tonight's game. What did you guys do well? What did you see out there that you know you're going to need to improve on?
We're going to need to work on our defense a lot, on our help side. We work a lot on practice. We got to focus on that more. We did look into the post more, which is good. Good for Hannah. Got some passes into there, so that's good.
How much fun is this for you? I mean, you're one of 2 freshmen that started in this lineup. Hannah's just a sophomore, some good young talent to go along with your experience and good seniors that you've got.
Yeah, it's very fun. Some of these girls on my team are like my closest friends, so it's just a great opportunity to play with them.
Centennial on Tuesday night. What do you expect from the Cougars?
They're going to be scrappy. We got to fight.
Good luck and enjoy this one.
Thank you.
Champlin Park, a nice win tonight. Their first conference win. They win the conference opener over Armstrong, 71-55. Again, they'll take on Centennial, 4th-ranked team in the state in Class 4A, Tuesday night in Champlin Park's home opener. That'll do it for a telecast tonight from Armstrong and for Jay Wilcox and all of our crew. I'm John Jacobson. Final score once more: Champlin Park 71, Armstrong 55.